Hello everyone from Bring a Trailer. My name is Steve Serio. I'm here at Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, happily shooting a video for this fantastic 1967 Mercedes Benz 250 SL. A lot of cars that we get, that we have show up on Bring a Trailer, that we offer to the world are good, some are great, some are absolutely exceptional and one-of-a-kind things. So here's the deal with this car, and we'll try not to ramble on too much because I think the pictures, the driving video, they'll all speak for themselves. But a lot of the paperwork, the file that comes with this car is something, we could add another 100 pictures and you'd be bored senseless looking at them. It's easier for me to talk about how much of a holy grail this two-owner car really is. The whole car is original, except for one repaint done by Rudy Konachek, essentially for himself a handful of years ago. So the original owner, Mr. Peter Perry, kept everything about this car, including the canceled check for when he bought it from the Daimler Benz of North America Corporation at Mercedes Benz Manhattan in the Park Avenue showroom. So Peter Perry, Boise, Idaho, ordered this car from Mercedes Benz. It is silver gray metallic. It's not just silver, it's not just gray, it's silver gray, dark blue text. But the key to this car, more than anything else that gets offered, it's a 5-speed. Now, that's not such a big deal in a lot of circles, but out of the 44,000 odd Mercedes-Benz SLs that were made in the 1960s going to 1971, 882 were 5-speeds. So you think less than 2%, about 1.75% were 5-speeds because it was an expensive option. It was $474, and we have that on the original bill of sale. So again, Mr. Perry kept everything. The car was sold on February 17th, seemed to have been put into service in June, as all the warranty paperwork shows. So if you break down the 5-speed numbers, 882 in total, 9 were made in 1967 for the United States. So there were only 9 250 SLs in 1967. And the 5-speed was only offered at the very end of the 230 SL run into the very beginning of the 250 SL run for the United States. So you couple that with the originality of the car. He drove it pretty darn regularly when he got it, and it went all the way to 51,900 miles in 1981. It's still showing less than 54,000 miles because he took it off the road, it went into storage, he eventually passed away, and his estate dealt with the car. So it's only gone 2,000 miles in the last 40 years. So back to the paperwork. This is the Importer's Manufacturer Statement of Origin, an MSO from the period. His letter from Mercedes-Benz dated June 23rd, 1967. Welcome to the Mercedes-Benz family. We obviously have his data plate, which was the key to service back then. And let's just say every single bit of service paperwork from 1967 through his ownership, everything, oil changes, warranty work, if he had to fix a scratch, anything that was done, he documented and kept. And here is actually an interesting one. So this is all amusing because the data plate was actually used on this. You have the Peter Perry Crestline Drive, Boise, Idaho data plate showing the car, and this was April 18th, 1967. I think this is his very first service in Boise, Idaho. So now, after we go through all the service records, which again are copious, everything about the car, every single insurance registration card, and I'm not going to bore everybody to tears taking all of these out, but that's consistent. So the Lyle Pearson Company at Capitol Boulevard, South Capitol Boulevard in Boise, was his service point. They were Mercedes Benz and Volvo, which is interesting. We have the original Michelin warranty, the certificate for the air conditioning, the Coolmeister operator's guide, a Bosch booklet, all of the Becker radio warranty information. So this guy did rightfully keep everything, as well as the great little logbook. This one goes from 48,517 miles. He really documents every single trip that he takes in the car. And this goes pretty much until the car was parked in 1981, July 8th, 1981, with 51,933 miles on the car. So not only is the car fully documented, it's spec'd as great as you could have had one. 5-speed, great color combination, hard top. It's got the Kinder seat in the back, which we'll talk about. This car has 2 steering wheels. The second steering wheel was added many years later. The original black wheel is in a box in the trunk. There's a white wheel fitted to it now. But Coolmeister, factory air conditioning, and a Becker radio. So he's pretty much checked every single box you could. The toolkit's there, the spare is there, everything's there and ready to go to the next owner. After Peter Perry had the car and then it went to Rudy Konachek for paint, it went to its second owner in California. The second owner obviously serviced, went through the car, tires, anything that you would want to do to it was done. So it hasn't been neglected in the least bit. When it was taken out of storage after Mr. Perry passed away, his daughter went through all the systems. We have all the service records of that, and it comes with no questions asked. So putting the car up on a lift, which you'll see the pictures of, underneath, it's a brand new old car. So hopefully this has been informative. Let's take a little walk around the car and we'll go through it and point out some of these things. Again, not your average SL. There was one other SL, a 280 SL that lives with a gentleman in Los Angeles that I would put in the same category as this car. Even that car has original paint, so it's one up on this one. That's a 280 SL, and within the last year, the Grunford Motor Car Company offered the car up for $595,000 or something because it was a Paris stand car. But in this, if we look at all the little details in here, the original interior is virtually brand new. I can't show you the top right now because the hard top is fitted, but the original soft top essentially had never been up on the car. Even these wonderful little plastic seatbelt protectors, which are rarely ever seen, are still there with the original seatbelts. And then you get in the car, and the current odometer reading is 53,962. Looking at everything here, I mean, down to the little Mercedes Benz key fob that was given to him when new, all of these wonderful little switches operate freely, showing how well the car has been serviced for your heating and ventilation. The Becker Mexico radio, a nice, just wonderful period original piece. The Coolmeister air conditioning. I mean, it's kind of funny that any convertible would have air conditioning, but this one does. And in the SL world, the glove box, the light works perfectly, and you open the glove box, and everything inside the glove box is brand new. It was like it was never used. The wood is in great shape. The back seat, never had the Kinder seat fitted. The 2 pieces are in the trunk. He obviously bought it as an option from the dealer. That can be fitted. It's trimmed to match the interior perfectly. If you look here at the original data plate, everything is perfectly in shape. There's the rear axle oil change sticker, which obviously hasn't been updated because it says at A and B service, 800 miles, and we've gone long past that. The rubber mats are virtually new. The carpet is, I'm not going to call it absolutely perfect because it's got a tiny scuff mark where his left foot must have worn through it a tiny bit, but the carpet's virtually new. The trim pieces in the sill are new. The door panels are brand new. And it just shows, you know, if you have one owner who loved the car, this is what you end up with years later. Let's look at the trunk. All right, so everybody knows one of the immediate things you do looking at an SL is you look in the trunk, you look to see what's rusty, what isn't. Here is the second black steering wheel, actually the original wheel, which goes with the car. The two pieces of the Kinder seat, a tool kit, which is virtually unused. Some of the tools still have their wrapping around them. Everything is correct there. And this sits beautifully in the spare tire cover. And then the great thing that people do when they always look at an SL, they have to pick up the rubber mat to make sure the car wasn't dinged in the back. And that inside is like it was made yesterday. And now what, as a car geek, things that really stand out to me when looking at anything, if you look in the engine compartment, and obviously when the car was repainted, Rudy went out of his way to really clean this up, but every single spot weld, whether it's on the fender lines, under the nose of the car, anywhere inside here on the shock towers, every single spot weld is as it was in 1967. The car runs perfectly. The air conditioning is cold. Again, it's been serviced to death. Another ID tag is here, as you'd expect it to be. Underneath the hood, virtually brand new. The driving video will show you how great it drives. Nothing closes like that. So again, inside, original seat belts, ashtray, obviously the guy wasn't a smoker, and the key, the 5-speed gearbox. It makes all the difference in the world driving this car compared to an automatic or even a 4-speed, that 5-speed box is there, and it's pretty darn special. Headliner on the hardtop, virtually brand new. The wood trim on the rear window, again, virtually brand new. So this really is a time warp museum quality car. And I'd say if you took it to any SL event anywhere in the world, it would be a centerpiece. Hopefully, if you have any questions, reach out. But this video, the driving video, all of the pictures underneath, top side, inside, should answer your questions. Thanks very much for listening.